Sometimes love grows quietly, slowly, like dew clinging to leaves in the morning. But there is also love that eventually cannot be hidden, because every glance, every small movement, every smile speaks more honestly than 1,000 words. And perhaps that is what Cheng Lei and Zhou Ye are feeling now. The two of them have long been the center of public attention. Since they were first paired in a drama project that captured the hearts of millions of viewers, their chemistry has felt so natural, so gentle, as if they were not acting, but showing a slice of real life. But for months, they have always been professional, refraining from gossip, as if nothing was going on. But love, like the light behind the clouds, cannot be hidden forever. In one of their latest promotional events, the camera captured a small moment that immediately set the internet ablaze. Zhou Ye, with her gentle smile, turned to Cheng Lei. At first glance, it was just a casual glance. But for those who understand the language of love, there was something there, a sparkle in their eyes, a gaze that was too warm to be called professional. Cheng Lei, usually calm and charismatic, seemed to lose focus for a moment. He smiled, bowed his head, as if trying to hide his embarrassment. But that second was enough. Enough to convince fans that there was something deeper between the two of them. "That gaze cannot lie," wrote one comment on Weibo. Cheng Lei looked at Zhou Ye as if she were the only person in the world. Some production crew members even began to leak little stories that further reinforced the public's suspicions. They said that during filming, Cheng Lei always paid attention to Zhou Ye, making sure she was comfortable, holding an umbrella when it rained, and even quietly bringing her warm drinks when the weather was too cold. Zhou Ye, on the other hand, was often seen staring at him from afar, with a gentle but meaningful gaze. "He treated her in a way I had never seen before," said one staff member who was interviewed anonymously. "There's no need to say anything. We all know something is growing between them." During every break in filming, the two were seen talking softly in the corner of the room. There was no loud laughter, no commotion, just small talk, which seemed to mean a lot to both of them. It was as if they had created a small world just for the two of them. The turning point came when a short video went viral on social media. The video showed Cheng Lei and Zhou Ye walking side by side after the awards ceremony. The camera captured the moment when their hands touched, just for a moment, but it was enough to spark a storm in the virtual world. Zhou Ye smiled, her eyes sparkling, while Cheng Lei seemed to be holding back from looking back for too long. But after a few steps, Cheng Lei gently brushed away the hair covering Zhou Ye's face. That small gesture melted thousands of hearts at once. Comments poured in. "They're not just co-workers. That's the gesture of someone who cares. If that's acting, then they deserve the highest award." But was it really just acting? As the days passed, it became harder and harder to believe. Despite the rumors growing louder, both Cheng Lei and Zhou Ye chose to remain silent. They neither denied nor confirmed anything, an attitude that only made the public more convinced. Some fans began collecting small pieces from each of their appearances. In one interview, Zhou Ye mentioned that he admires someone who is calm, wise, but warm. A few days later, in a separate interview, Cheng Lei said that she feels comfortable with someone who can understand without many words. Neither of them mentioned names, but the sentence felt like a distant exchange between them. There was another moment that left a deep impression on fans. During the filming of an emotional scene where their characters had to part ways, Zhou Ye actually cried. After the director yelled, "Cut!" she was still sobbing. Cheng Lei approached without hesitation, giving her a brief but warm hug. There were no cameras, no script, just two hearts meeting in silence. One of the crew members said, "He looked at her in a way that couldn't be faked." Everyone on set knew it wasn't just acting. And whether by coincidence or not, after filming ended, the two began to appear together more often at various public events. They sat next to each other, whispered to each other, and often shared smiles that were difficult to describe in words. What made the story of Cheng Lei and Zhou Ye so touching was not only their good looks, but the way they protected something precious in the spotlight. They didn't rush to announce it, nor did they dismiss it rudely. They chose to let their love grow slowly, like a flower blooming at night. Not everyone can see it, but for those who are sensitive, its beauty is real. There is a gentle strength in the way they look at each other. It is not burning passion, but a soothing calm, as if they have known each other longer than the world realizes. Now, every time they appear together, hashtags with their names always shoot up to trending. Fans have started calling them the couple that needs no confirmation. Because everything is already obvious. In the way they walk side by side, in the way Zhou Ye looks down shyly when praised next to Cheng Lei, and in the way Cheng Lei always makes sure she doesn't fall behind. One of their most recent moments on the red carpet even became a hot topic of conversation. When Zhou Ye almost tripped over her long dress, Cheng Lei reflexively grabbed her arm and looked at her with concern. Instantly, camera flashes exploded everywhere. But in the midst of the commotion, their eyes met, just for a few seconds, but the world stopped for a moment. A few days later, paparazzi captured photos of the two of them in a small cafe, dressed casually, without makeup, without entourage, without pretense. They laughed, shared drinks, and looked so natural, like two ordinary people falling in love. There was nothing left to hide. The world already knew, and perhaps for the first time, neither of them tried to cover it up. Zhou Ye smiled warmly as the paparazzi took photos, while Cheng Lei just looked at her, with the same gaze as in the beginning, gentle, meaningful, and honest. It wasn't just a rumor, not just a guess. Their love was now evident. What made their story so moving was the sincerity that radiated from them. No big drama, no explosive statements, just two people who understand each other in the midst of a world that is too noisy. Cheng Lei and Zhou Ye have shown that true love doesn't need many words, just a glance, just warm silence. And perhaps that is why the public is so fascinated, because their story feels so human, so real. Now, every time their names are mentioned, there are no more empty rumors, only warm smiles from those who believe in gentle love. They don't need to say we're together, because the world has already seen it. They can't hide it anymore. And perhaps they don't want to hide it anymore.